What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the stream. And today we are going to be wrapping up our second season. As you can see, we're sitting there 64 and 84, 20 games under 500, and 23 games out of first place. We traded away a lot of talent at the deadline, so we're not that surprised to see us struggling to this magnitude. So 64 and 84, I can handle it. We're gonna win. We're not gonna lose 100 games, so I guess that's decent. I guess it's a little bit disappointing that we're this bad, but we still aren't the worst team in baseball. So a first overall pick doesn't look likely for us. Sometimes that first overall pick is what you need. So you're kind of stuck with whoever's left of those blue chip prospects when you draft where you are. So, but we'll make the most of it. That's what we do. So we are here at the end of the Double-A season. I actually already simulated the last game. So let's check out the Double-A statistics before we move on to Triple-A and the majors. So Jake Fox, only 20 years old, but actually kind of impressed with his contact and on-base percentage numbers there. He's not a heavy hitting infielder, so I'm not too worried about the power numbers. Pretty decent season for him. Kevin Made, not what we were hoping to see out of him. Only 20 years old, so he's up to 63 overall, but the bat has not been developing. Most of that 63 is from the defense, as you can see there. So hopefully next season is going to be a pretty big season for him, being 21 years old. PCA, we sent to Double-A to try to help his bat out. Things didn't go super great down there, as you see the slash line there. But we got some modest gains across the board in his hitting numbers. He'll start the season in Triple-A next year, being 22 years old. We really need that bat to develop because we know we're going to get that A-plus defense out of him, but we traded for him because I believed in the bat. And we need a future center fielder, and right now we don't have one, and we're hoping that Pete Crow Armstrong can be that. Both of my promising right fielders that I came into this franchise with disappointed in their first stints in Double-A, but they're only 20 years old each, so hopefully they can bounce back next season. Davison De Los Santos, the guy we got from the Arizona Diamondbacks last year, he was actually hitting under 200 at one point, so he did bounce back. He's only 19 years old. I've kind of pushed him a little bit aggressively, so it may have hurt his development slightly. But again, 62 overall. He's got some decent power numbers already. We just got to get those contact and vision numbers up. Although he had some pretty good gains in the vision department this season, so that is promising. Kyle Manzardo, our trade deadline acquisition from the Tampa Bay Rays. Pretty good development. Not expecting for too much out of him, but it's nice to have a nice, strong lefty bat in our organization as we go along. And then our first round pick from last year, David Arellano, struggled at Double-A. Not necessarily surprising considering you look at some of those batting numbers, although really like seeing the contact right and left numbers, getting to +7, +5 there. We were training his bat for contact all season, so it was good to see that. His power numbers are already in a pretty good position, and you see the defensive numbers being what they are. So we're going to keep working him. He's going to stay in Double-A probably for a couple seasons, probably until his age, at least till age 20, probably 21 possibly, depending on how that bat develops, because we don't want to push him too fast to Triple-A. Had to get him into Double-A because he was good enough to be in Double-A. Hopefully next year we're going to see a little bit better numbers out of him. Francisco, who was hitting pretty well when we acquired him. The power numbers and the on-base percentage are good. Like I said, this guy's only 71 potential, so not expecting big things out of him, but a nice bat to have in our organization there. Switching over to the rotations, I did bring up our international free agent signings, Luis Aguayo and Fernando Arias, just for the last few games of the season. Just wanted to get him a little bit of work. You see the development track there for Fernando Arias. Not a bad season. Again, obviously having some struggles with those walks, but like the growth that he had in his first year. And then Luis Aguayo, not great, but again, didn't expect too much about them with the overalls being what they were, and I'm happy to see some of the growth. Also, the guys that I did create for those international free agents, I'm also going to make sure that they're 18 years old next year as well, because I created them as players to sign when they were 16, but you can't go below 18, so next year would actually be their age 18 season. So Kyle Harrison, the guy we acquired from the Giants, did not have a great season, although he finished on a hot streak, so that's promising. He'll start next season in AAA. One of our top draft picks from last year, Adam Lindsay, he had a very good season after we pushed him to Double-A from Single-A. Brian Medina, he slowed down as the season went on. We'll give him a full season at Double-A next year in the starting rotation, so he'll have to try his best to take off next year. It'll be a big year for him. Alec Willis did not perform very well. Sean Burke had a good year year. I might try to push him to AAA next year because he's going to be 24 and he's got a sink or swim, even though he is only that 62 overall. Pointing out a couple of the relievers, Felix Villa was pretty happy with him. I think this is the guy I picked up in the free agent market as an undrafted free agent from last year. So pretty good performances from him. Guillermo Leon was a draft pick for us last year. Pretty happy with how he played. And then that's all I really want to talk about from the bullpen side. So let us go to the end of the AAA season. Wait, why do I have too many players on where? Okay, I don't think it's going to matter in the end. Yeah, because we didn't win the first half. Okay, I'll just send somebody random down then. We'll just send Arias down. Call it a day. Okay. Don't know how I ended up with that many guys there, but okay. Somebody probably came off the IL or something. Okay, Asa Lacy, we'll put him back in the rotation because he's probably going to get one more start, and we want him to get that start. It was Bryce Miller who was the long reliever. You see Asa Lacy is on a hot streak right now, so okay, we'll keep him there, and then let us sim this last game here to see how the AAA guys have panned out. So, starting in the lineup, Greg Deichmann. He's been at AAA all season, did not make it into the majors. I don't know what I'm going to do with him yet. That's going to take some thinking. Depends how the lineup ahead of him shakes out. He's got one of the better disciplines for our outfielders right now, which is only 62, so it's not saying a ton. I might keep him just because of that, because we don't have guys who can take walks, and he can, so that is something that kind of stands out for him. Mickey McDonald will be back just because his name is Mickey McDonald. We've talked about this. Gunnar Henderson, only 21 years old, but the bat's not been developing, and if he doesn't get it going next year, I'm going to start to be concerned. But I'm going to hold off right now. Tyler Gentry, not much to speak of. Carson Taylor was having a good season, but he cooled down at the end of the year. Thought we might be having something there in the catcher's role, but not quite. Will Robertson picked it up in AAA as the season went on. We'll keep him in AAA. We'll give him a full season next year, and it's sink or swim time for him. Casey Schmidt. I thought about dumping him last year. I might actually pull the trigger on it this year. We'll see how the roster shakes out. If I need a guy like him just to kind of fill out my rosters, I know he has 78 potential, so it's hard to let that go, but I might just pull that trigger and dump him. Cole Roeder, I'm actually pretty impressed with. He was struggling first half of the season in AA. He picked it up and actually had a very good slash line in AA, so I called him up for the tail end of the season in AAA, and I'd say I'm pretty impressed with that there. So Cole Roeder looking like a guy who might be part of our future. Leover Peguero, our pick up from the Pirates mid-season. The growth is nice, but the numbers aren't. So he's only going to be 23 next year. We're going to hopefully try to get him into the majors at some point next year, but he's got to hit for better numbers than what he did there. That's everything I want to show off for the lineups there. Let's look at the numbers from the pitchers. Dylan Dodd, we pushed to AAA for a couple of starts. He did okay. He was pitching very well at AA. Next year, going to be a make it or break it season for him. Beck Way was looking pretty good, but I guess he had a couple of bad starts down the stretch. Overall, pretty happy with how Beck Way's season has gone. He pitched very well at AA, had some success at AAA in some limited numbers. Asa Lacy finished the season hot, so he's going to be in consideration for an opening day rotation spot next season. Kyle Nicholas had heated up, but cooled off apparently at the end. Lots of strikeouts there. So this is a guy we might look to get into the majors next season. He's not on the 40-man. He'll probably end on the 40-man after the season. And Cole Franklin, our mid-season acquisition, did not pitch very well at AAA, but that is okay. Jeremiah Estrada looks like a future bullpen piece. He threw very well. Loved the growth across the board there. Riley Thompson actually had a pretty good year his first season as a full-time reliever, so pretty happy to see that. He'll be in consideration for a bullpen role next year. Bryce Bonin, oof, that's ugly. Only 21 in the third innings pitched, but, oh man, not what I was hoping to see when we started this franchise with him. Tyler Thomas is somebody I want to point out. I had him just as a depth lefty, but I think his ERA was under 1 when he was in AA, and you see the numbers at AAA here. So this is a guy I'm going to keep around. Maybe I don't know. Maybe is somebody in consideration for a bullpen role next year because Brooks Raley I'm not going to bring back because he's 34 years old. He's already starting to lose overall, so really don't see a reason to keep him around. And then Parker Dunshee, we pushed into the majors for a hot minute, and he did not do well. Still had that hot stretch from the start of his career last year, but I'm probably not going to bring him back next season. So, okay, that's all she wrote for AAA. Let us go to the final 5 games of the regular season for the Major League squad. Don't make the playoffs. That is fine. Keep going, and then let us simulate this last game here. Toussaint picks up the victory. Well, glad you picked up the victory of your last game on our roster because he's not going to be back next year. All right, checking him out. Santiago Espinal. I'm giving a manual potential bump for him. I think he's maxed out at 78. I don't think I'll go to 80, but I'm at least going to give him one more because this is a great season. I mean, that is some premier slash line material right there. I'm really happy with that. He stole 15 bases, did get caught stealing 8 times, but he stole 15 bases. One thing I thought was a little weird is his WAR was lower than last year, so I'm not quite sure what that's about. He did have a lower fielding percentage, so that maybe, I can't imagine that had that much to do with it. So, but yeah, overall, great season for Santiago Espinal. Very happy. Glad I didn't trade him either. I think this guy is a very solid piece going forward. Nick Gordon, not walking enough, but decent, really decent season. That slugging was up to 450 last I checked, so he kind of cooled off down the stretch. But honestly, this is a guy I think could slide into our 2-hole for the next couple seasons because he's got a pretty good bat. Doesn't take a lot of walks, but he makes enough contact and hits for enough pop to be sitting strong in that 2-hole. Mitch Haniger had a good second half of the season. I'm kind of annoyed with him because we could have flipped him if he had an actual good season first half, but he's going into free agency on a little bit of a hot streak. So the Yerminator did pick it up a little bit in the second half, and by a little bit, I mean like a really little bit. I gave him a potential bump to 77 from 75. I'm going to bump that back down to a 76 now. So we're going to bring him back because we need a big bat still in the middle of our lineup next season. So hopefully he is able to bounce back from a rough season. Michael Busch's first cup of coffee in the majors wasn't great, but that's okay. I mean, he's got like 85 potential. So you look at one thing I'm very happy with is you see the +10 against the contact lefties. So that is promising. He's going to be able to hit those lefties pretty well. I'm not worried about him. I look at the makeup from him. This guy will be able to perform in the long term. Elliot Ramos was hitting very well, but you see he kind of got ice cold as the season ended. Not too upset about that. The on-base percentage could be better, but you look at what the discipline is for him. I'm not too worried in the long term with his ability to take walks. Mickey Moniak picked it up in the contact department as the season winded down. I moved him out of the 2-hole, and that probably helped him out a little bit. The power numbers are not there, so it's a little concerning. I think I might leave him in the full-time. Unless there's a center fielder out there that I'm just dying to have, I'll give him one more season in that center fielder role. And it's going to be sink or swim time for him next year in his 25-year-old season. Ivan Herrera, we pushed into the majors. Not a great season. 75 overall, probably going to be our starting catcher next year, maybe. We'll see. Between him and Rene Pinto. Pinto did not have a great season. Power number is decent. But yeah, I mean, Herrera is higher potential, better defender, younger, probably better across the board. So good growth for Herrera, specifically against those lefties. So, but we're going to have to hit better against righties to be more successful long-term with him. Nicky Lopez, that's not it. That's just not going to cut it. 250, 304, 341. That is bad. What was his WAR? So his WAR was better than last year. So must have been playing very good defense. He might be in consideration for a Gold Glove. We'll have to check out the awards near the end of this episode. Jeter Downs, not bad. His average end power numbers were a little bit higher when I last checked, but he's up to 74 overall. So I couldn't find a place for him to play because he doesn't have third base as a secondary position, and he doesn't really fit the mold of a third baseman either because he doesn't have that arm strength. And I didn't really want to bench Nick Gordon, so I don't know. I might try to find some way to get Jeter Downs in the lineup next season. We'll have to figure that one out. Lars Nootbaar heated up near the tail end of the season. I think what I'm going to do with Lars is I'm going to try to trade him in the offseason. I like him, and he's done well as a fourth outfielder for us, but he hasn't quite fit in as a everyday player for us. So, yeah, I might try to find a trade partner for him in the offseason, specifically because we got so many lefties anyways, and I need to kind of pare down that a little bit. Dalton Kelly, pretty good, actually. Only 51 at-bats. I was considering taking him off the 40-man roster. I probably still will because I'm going to need that spot in the offseason, but liked what I was able to get out of him. So let's switch over to pitching rotation. Glenn Otto cooled off pretty significantly as the season tailed to an end. But overall, 1.7 pitching WAR, 4.4 FIP. Not a bad season. I think you will lock him into a full-time pitching role next season. He was able to start the entire season, and yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with how Glenn Otto has performed. Bobby Miller, we pushed into the rotation at the tail end of the season. Not great performances, but he's going to be very much in consideration for an opening day rotation spot next season. Bo Brisk cooled off a little bit, although the whip looks pretty good. So what was the FIP? Not great because he was giving up a lot of home runs, but he was limiting those walks. Those strikeout numbers are leaving a lot to be desired, though. Justice Sheffield is gone. I'm done dealing with him. I'm not going to say any more about that. Brady Singer heated up. I think his ERA was north of 7 when we picked him up. So for him to drop that under 6 is promising. We'll see what we can get out of him next season. Brian Bello was cooking, but it looks like he maybe had a couple of bad outings as he pushes that ERA above 4, and so is that FIP. But peripheral numbers look pretty good. Home run numbers just slightly above league average, which is about 1.25, 1.3. So, yeah. Was he a little bit unlucky in the hits department? Yeah, about 1 per inning. So, he'll be in consideration for a starting rotation spot next season as well. Touki Toussaint is going to be gone. The strikeout numbers are there, but I just can't deal with him anymore. Just the stuff is there. He just has not been able to capitalize on it. Luis Frias is fantastic. I'm going to look at his potential and make sure that he is adequate because this was a great season from him in his I guess this would be his rookie year because he was only throwing 3 1/3 so far. Dylan Coleman really settled down to the tail end of the season. What was his FIP? 3.76. Abner Uribe, we pushed into the majors at the tail end of the season. Only 5 innings and 5 appearances. The walk numbers are what they are. That's going to be Uribe. But the strikeout numbers are insane. So his FIP comes out to 2 because of those strikeout numbers. He's already maxed out on those strikeout numbers. So this kid could be some filth. I don't know if he'll break the camp next year as a bullpen arm, but we'll see. He might. Brooks Rowley already said he's not going to be back next year. Not a bad lefty, just I don't want to deal with regression with him. I'm going to find a new lefty. Tyler Ivey, good season, finished with 17 holds. What was the FIP? 3.65. So 2 solid straight seasons for Tyler Ivey out of our bullpen. So I'd like to see that. I have a decision to make on Jason Adam. I have a lot of young arms that I think I want to probably pitch over him. He has filthy stuff. I really did like pitching him with him in the couple games that I did. But he's dropped a bunch of overall this year. Did not have a very good season. He was filthy last year, but not a great season this year. Probably will move on from him. And then Carlos Hernandez. I'm not quite sure what his ERA was when I moved him to the bullpen. I think it was probably right around 5.74. So didn't really do anything too crazy. FIP 4.38. We're probably going to keep him as our closer for next year. I think long term he might be a pretty solid bullpen arm for us. So just go over, check the injured list. No, nobody. Shocking. I finished the season with nobody on the injured list, but okay. That is the end of the season. We were 66 and 96. Let us go check out some of the awards. So, our MVP of the American League is Lucas Giolito. Okay. Yeah. Again, this is the second straight season I've seen a pitcher win it over a position player who should have just run away with it. By the way, that slash line for Corey Seager is insane. 2 straight seasons like that, too. Wow. Corey Seager definitely should have won that. There's no way that Giolito's peripherals were good enough. I mean, that's a great season, don't get me wrong, but there's no way. What was the WAR? 6.6 compared to 8.4. So maybe the game doesn't go by WAR. I retract my statement from last year. But yeah, no way Corey Seager shouldn't have won that. In the National League, Juan Soto should have won it last year, did win it this year, so I retract my statement about how he's never going to win with 9.1 WAR. Wow. Well, you see those defensive numbers getting him. He's basically maxed out on hitting stats. Wow. He is going to be a free agent next season. Let's try to be good enough so we can open up our piggy banks and try to spend everything on him. I don't even know if we're going to have enough money to sign this guy. This guy's going to demand like $50 million per year when he's a free agent in real life. He's going to be crazy. Okay. Cy Young, Corbin Burns at a 4.4 ERA. The awards in this game are weird. Lucas Giolito, obviously batting title, Anthony Rendon, Christian Yelich. Reliever of the year, Camilo Doval, Ryan Presley. Joe Ryan is the rookie of the year. Oof. 4.77 ERA. Well, I guess the competition wasn't that fierce. Peraza's probably better than both of them, but not great either. Hunter Owen for the... Wow, look at this guy. Good season. Hold on real quick, because I'm going to forget to do this. Just because of that, where is Hunter Owen? In left fielder? Center fielder? What was he? Wait, what position did he play? There we go, third base. Let's see what his potential is real fast. 71? Okay. I'm going to do something because he won Rookie of the Year, and that was an insane season. I'm going to bump him to 77. I think that's fair. Okay. Back to the awards. Only a couple more that I wanted to look at. Rookie of the Year. So Hank Aaron, Ji-Man Choi. Wow. Well, that's a really good season. So I don't disagree with that assessment. Juan Soto, of course. And then we're talking about Gold Gloves, which we don't want to. We dealt with that last season's episode. So, okay. So let us check out the playoffs. So we're going to sim to the next Sunday. So the Yankees took down the Tampa Bay Rays in the AL wildcard. The Phillies took down the Cubs in the NL wildcard. So the Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays are tied, as so are the White Sox and Astros. And then so are the Cardinals and Braves. And then the Dodgers are up 2-0 on the Phillies. So let's sim another week here. All right, so Toronto took down the Yankees 3-1. Houston took down the White Sox 3-2. St. Louis was able to take that series from the Braves in 5. And the Phillies stormed back with 3 straight victories to take down the Dodgers. Let's take a look at the Dodgers real quick. I'm curious to see how the guys we traded them finished. So Andujar was playing the DH, did not have a very good playoffs. Wow, that's not very good. But regular season numbers were great. So not a great playoffs, but he was good during the season after we traded him. Corey Dickerson, also not a good playoffs. Seems like he cooled off a little bit. I think his slugging was about 470. So not bad, but it wasn't great in the second half. But they did both fill starting roles for them on the number 1 seed Dodgers, who just kind of fell apart. So, okay. Let's sim another week to see what the World Series sets up. So Toronto took down Houston in 6. So Toronto is in the World Series. Very nice. I could see Toronto making the World Series the next couple seasons if everything goes right. And then the Phillies, after storming back on the Dodgers, took down the Cardinals in 6. So Toronto versus Philadelphia. Let's go check out the Phillies right here. Okay. So first game, Zach Wheeler versus Alex Manoah. Ooh, this is a heavyweight battle, although both guys have pretty bad ERAs in the playoffs. So that is going to be a victory for the Blue Jays. All right, Trevor Bauer and Jose Barrios. Victory for the Phillies and Trevor Bauer. So we are going to Philadelphia now. Sonny Gray versus Kevin Gossman. That's a victory for Kevin Gossman and the Blue Jays. Zach Wheeler back on the bump again versus Pablo Lopez. Wow, Toronto's got a very good and very deep rotation. Another victory for the Blue Jays. And then finally, Michael Lorenzen versus Alex Manoah for the victory for the Blue Jays. And they took them down. Yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays rotation. Let's go check out that rotation real fast. Very deep. Let's go over here. very deep pitching rotation. Nate Pearson is your fifth starter. And even Hyun-Jin Ryu is there too. So yeah, very good rotation for the Blue Jays, and that seems like that was the difference there. So let's go check out the World Series MVP, Lourdes Gurriel. What was the season? Not a great season, but looks like he was a playoff hero for them in the World Series. And then let's check out Teoscar Hernandez was the postseason MVP. Yeah, Lourdes Gurriel had a great playoffs too. Teoscar Hernandez, wow, 358 with 6 homers. That's very nice. And then what about the Phillies' JT Realmuto? So that's going to wrap up this episode. You see the Toronto Blue Jays are your 2023 World Series champions. I can see it. I mean, they're a very talented young team right now. Just have to make a couple of right moves at the right time. So anyways, I'm going to go take care of the offseason. There's going to be quite a few guys on this roster I think are not going to be here next time I see you guys. So we'll see how everything shakes out. But in the meantime, in between time, I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm out. Deuces.